Hi, this is Katie, and I'm coming straight from the Pop Century Resort. As you can see, I have Mickey Mouse behind me joining us and some foosball players. Now, I just finished watching the sixth episode, and we have some standout scenes and some honorable mentions. So, this is the standout scenes and honorable mentions for Outlander Season 7, Episode 6. And again, I have some little cue cards going for me. And my first pick is going to be Claire meeting Lieutenant Lord Ellesmere William, all grown up. And I like that he remembers her. She definitely would make an impression, and his description of her later on is spot on. He also does her the favor of acquiring some of the supplies she's requested. Of course, they can't get food, but she's got some medical supplies now and some water that allows her to do what she does best, which is to treat those who are in need. And we find out that, again, that William is a very honorable person. He sees her. He wants to assist her. The treatment of prisoners, even traitors, he's a gentleman. And so he is going to be as respectful as he can to the people in his care, especially one who has saved his father. Now, for my second standout scene, it's going to be Ian saving Claire. And Jamie, of course, acting as a distraction. Again, William recognizes Ian and puts two and two together, knows that Ian is a relation to James Fraser, to Claire Fraser, and is there to cause trouble, not acting on behalf of the crown as he had suspected at first. And William tells them that I can't read my own handwriting. William tells them, shows them how to leave through the latrines as again, a debt of honor, which I will get to later on, but it is that life for a life that comes up so often. And so William helps them escape. And he thanks Ian for saving his life, but also warns him that if they meet in the future, they will not be meeting as friends. And I think Ian respects him for that and understands. There's really no other way to look at it. And now for my third standout scene, it's going to be that Roger finds his place. Now, I love that they've got Roger teaching the Gaelic. It's really nice to see him active and feeling like he has a place in the modern world again. Obviously, he couldn't be a professor at the college or the universities too far away. So to see him in his element, even though it's not preaching, it's teaching, and it's the same elements, getting in front of people and dispersing knowledge. He teaches them how to curse, which I think is fantastic. There's no actual bad names. It's all like ill curses. So it's kind of fantastic. And I like that he goes over the songs and how they helped. We watched Claire work the wool, so we've seen the working songs, but a line song was a little bit new as far as the name, and that's how the histories get brought down. More and more we learn about Scottish culture and Mohawk culture, and I can see why Ian was able to integrate so easily between the two. Now, the book reference in this one that kind of was like, didn't bother me in the slightest, but you have to remember in the books, Roger's voice took longer to come back. So the singing of the Gaelic songs in class in the books was not so much a struggle, yes, but was a real test of him trying to work his voice back and feel confident in his ability to be in front of people. We miss that here, but it's still about him gaining confidence in his role in the modern world again. So I think those were important elements, and they did capture that, even though it wasn't in the same way. My fourth standout scene is Roger catching the Naklave, and he was sneaky about it. I enjoy that I'm just putting away the groceries, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's out the door and catching none other than William Buck Mackenzie. It is one of the people that we expected to see soon, and I don't know why, but I was expecting the other one first. However, it is really nice to see the story coming along there, and it does, again, a little foreshadowing of what will be coming next. Those are my standout scenes, but you know me, I can't just stick to those. I've also got some honorable mentions to go over for this week as well. And please ignore my fingernails. Vacation, I'm not getting my nails done and it's a mess. Now, for my first honorable mention, it's going to be the death of Walter. Claire was doing everything she could to help the people who needed medical care, who were in the keep for the time, and to lose one that she had, quite frankly, really high hopes of him recovering, because they had to move him, most likely. It jostled a clot. There's nothing really she could do. She did everything she thought might help him, but in the end, without any surgical intervention, poor Walter, he was on death's bed. She knew it and did as best she could to keep him comfortable. But the loss of Walter, it wasn't necessarily surprising, but it was just a really sad moment for Claire to know that she couldn't help this person who absolutely deserved to be assisted and whose wife will now be missing him. It's just very upsetting. My second honorable mention is The Hitchhiker's Guide to Time Travel. Almost entirely because of the name. I enjoyed the book as a kid. I enjoyed the multiple movies made from it. However, Robert Cameron getting a hold of it and then inviting himself to dinner, which is essentially what happened there. I am free next week. Okay, I'll bring the wine. Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen next there. Sure, no complications whatsoever will arise because Robert Cameron read Roger's how-to for time traveling. Yeah. And for my third, are we up to three? Yeah, third honorable mention, it's A Life for a Life. I told you I'd be coming back to this one. It's another one of those that goes across cultures, and I love how it keeps coming up in Outlander. But some of these concepts of honor have not transferred over, but are just universally recognized. You save a life, you're owed something. And I think that it's got people who are walking around, so pardon me. I think it's interesting that it's pointed out often that this is, it's not just an English custom. It is not just an Indian custom. It's a human custom that if you do someone a favor of saving their life, then possibly you owe them a little something in return. And I like how that is crossing over to the different seasons, to the different cultures, to just everybody's understanding of what a life's value is, especially at this time, and especially during war. Now, my last, not standout scene, my last honorable mention is going to be Jamie become one of the Morgan Rifles. And once again, our trip to Scotland is going to be delayed a bit, but we also get a little bit more history there. Daniel Morgan was an actual person in history and was known for exactly that. It's not really a surprise that that Jamie was recruited, and I'm sure only more misadventures and interesting moments will come as he moves forward with Morgan's Rifles. Now, in closing, because I have a couple of things, the death of Mrs. Raven, that was incredibly shocking, which it was supposed to be, but it was so desperate and sad, and it shows these people who are trying to survive, who are following hopefully their beliefs or their husband's beliefs, most likely at that point, but who are trying to help create this new country. When they're pushed out, they are just as sad and just as desperate and just as frightened as you can be. And we see that with Mrs. Raven, and the suddenness of her death really helps push that idea home. Pardon me, I'm trying to avoid last week's little gunk in the corner thing. William learning about spies and how espionage works was a nice little slide into him returning to his English regiment, but it was a very quick education for him as to people maybe not being exactly who they say they are, and immediately after he runs into Ian. So I thought that was interestingly placed. Well done. Ian meeting up with Rachel again. Not a huge moment, but a sweet one. I like that he was hoping that She guessed why he was there, but of course, he was just there for Rolo. It had nothing to do with her. No need to be embarrassed. Um, Sometimes women are just not paying attention. Sometimes men are not paying attention. Eventually, I hope they will get their wires uncrossed and move forward and have all the happiness they both deserve. And yeah, I think that's all I've got for this one as far as stuff I really thought was worthy of pointing out. Although the scene where Sam and Claire catch up at the very end, and he learns what kind of man William has turned into and grown into. That was nice, but I think I preferred the bit right before that where they explain why women don't start wars. And yeah, there's a lot on our shoulders, but there's a lot on men's shoulders. I think it's an interesting way to approach the discussion, and I thought it was really good. The entire episode, of course, I loved, I enjoyed. I did get my 2 watch throughs despite the insanity, and I really hope you enjoyed it too. We'll see what happens next week, where I should be back at home for at least one review, I think. We'll have to see. I actually go home for a few days and then I leave again. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know below. As you can see, I did not stop in the middle and remind you to like, subscribe. You can, of course, join as a member or as a Patreon. Right now, I've got some little bits that are going up about my trip. And at any point you think that you'd like to do a little something just one time, always appreciate a one-time thanks. I hope I'll see you again next week. And until the next episode, please enjoy some videos right here about Outlander. And I'll see you there.